the founder and CEO of Exceptional. We're a brand development and marketing agency in Hudson, Wisconsin that focuses on health, wellness, and hospitality startups. Our mission is to help business owners succeed in the digital age. So we have developed here a tremendous partnership with the Greater Stillwater Chamber, and we look forward to bringing you guys a series of panels. It is also my honor today to be surrounded by some of the St. Croix Valley's top marketing professionals. We look forward to putting on an amazing panel for you guys and opening up for questions and answers here afterwards. I'll be introducing the panel members here shortly, but let's start by taking a look at the state of social media. How many of you have done the 10-year challenge? Yeah? Okay. All right, so there's a couple in the room. All right, so this is the 15-year challenge. 2004 or 2019, which one? Who still uses the yellow pages? Anyone? Not many? Okay. So 2003, 2006, MySpace was the most popular social network. All the other channels were just starting to get born in this time. Facebook is born, YouTube launches, Instagram didn't even exist. Can't imagine a world without Instagram. LinkedIn launches, Twitter is born, and Google is generating 400 million searches a day. 2019 in today's landscape, MySpace is dead. MySpace, rest in peace. Facebook is the #1 platform with a total of 2.23 billion monthly active users, and you can go down the rest of the list the rest of the way there. I did not include any instant messaging or video chat applications in this. So this is the landscape of 2019. So we can all understand why it's very important for businesses to be using this. Our audiences and our customers are using these platforms daily, and it is imperative for us to start leveraging these to grow our business. Now, this study was posted by Hootsuite. Here you can see the global annual digital growth. This is from 2017 until 2019, and you can see that there was an increase of 13%. And this is on social media platforms. Now, last year, 2019 or 2018 to 2019 was a tough year for social media. If any of you remember the data analytica breach with Facebook, social media today is now in a state where it's rebuilding trust with users. It's an interesting space. So the newest reports have not been posted yet, but I look forward to seeing what the 2018 landscape looked like. Brand actions on social media that prompted consumers to purchase, being responsive is #1, offering promotions is #2, and providing educational content, and down the list here. So being responsive. How many people feel that they're doing a good job of being responsive on social media today? Good. Nice job. Overachievers, I love it. So check this out. So this is an amazing statistic and study that they did. This is the percentage of US adults who use at least one social media site by age. The fastest growing segments on that chart are the 50 to 65 plus. How cool is that? Welcome. So the challenges with social media today: rebuilding trust, organic reach, posting it and making sure people can actually see your posts, stories and video. How do we leverage this to help grow our businesses and tell a story? Prioritization, gosh, there's hundreds of social media channels out there. Which ones do you use? And how do we quantify the ROI of social media? I'd like to take a moment now and welcome our panel experts. Julie Tice, come on up. So I'd like you to introduce yourself and let the audience know what you do and your business.
Okay. Hi, I'm Julia Tice. I'm with Lighthouse Marketing Media. We specialize in brand development, traditional and non-traditional media. I started my business about, 16 years ago, I think it was, coming from a radio background where I sold for CBS. I realized the creative process and branding was really the basics of a good marketing plan. So I started my business and outsourced services for clients that didn't want to hire a full service ad agency, or they didn't want to pay somebody full time for being a marketing consultant. So from there, I realized the power of social media marketing and went back to school at Splash Media U to get my social media master certification. That was about 4 years ago. And it's ever changing, as we all know, but the principles of social media marketing I stand by, and if used correctly, it can be a very powerful thing for a business. Thank you.
Awesome. Give her a round of applause. I did not know that you could get a degree in social media until I met her. All right, and please welcome Patrick Koda.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming. This is going to be a pretty good ride here. My name is Patrick Koda. I have a company called Scope 10 based out of Hudson, Wisconsin. We specialize in custom website design and development, software development, search engine optimization, social media engagement, basically anything that has to do with your online brand or representation. My experience is just over 30 years. I spent the first 20 years doing yellow page advertising, the good old days. And in 2008, I started our company Scope 10. And so we just exceeded our 10-year mark. With that being said, we've published we published as of today 2,029 custom design and programmed websites. We service over 6,600 clients nationwide and retain 98% of our customers since our inception. So Patrick Koda, thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. A true OG with the yellow pages. I love it. All right. And please welcome Christy Roskis. Did I get it? Yes. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Roskis. I'm the marketing director for Discover Stillwater, which is the Convention and Tourism Bureau. And technically, the way our tourism bureau is set up here in town, I am a contractor, not an employee, so I technically have my own company called Fresh Avenue Marketing. So I have the privilege of promoting this beautiful St. Croix Valley area, and I've been with them for about 7 years, and the marketing director for the last 5 years, and social media is a huge piece of marketing for the travel industry, and I was really neat to see the variety of people in this room, by the way, a few fellow hospitality folks who I follow online, Midtown Antiques, I know I see your stuff out there, and RM Realty, so a lot of you know a lot of good things and are doing a good job too, but I hope you learned something today, so thanks for having us.
And with introductions out of the way, let's get social. Are we live? All right. I'll pass this over here. We'll pass the mic around. All right. So the goal of this panel is to give you guys some inspiration to start the year social. We also want to help give you guys some tools and insights that these professionals are seeing and using every single day to grow brands in their portfolios. So we look forward to going through this discussion here and providing you guys with valuable insights to help you start the year social. That being said, are you guys ready to jump into it? Awesome. So what is the must-have social media channel of 2019 and why?
That's a really good question. It's really hard to pinpoint one particular platform because it really depends on who your target market is. Instagram is growing at a very rapid pace, much faster than Facebook has. As far as advertising goes, Facebook ads still outperforms web ads, so it still does really well if done right with the right marketing message, the right images. You can really nail it, and I've had some great success with social media on Facebook. But I really can't say one over the other, but Instagram I think is a big contender right now for branding and for engagement. It's a platform that's built for photos, so it's photo sharing. And now there's so much more that you can do on Instagram. And 3D photos is something new that Facebook introduced this past spring.
Is that the photos where it's almost like you turn it on the phone? And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, and it's new with Facebook. My partner, I have a partner, he was the dean of students at Splash Media where I got my certification, but he's in Oregon. But yeah, he's been telling me about this, and he says this is going to be the biggest thing ever because it's new. Facebook hasn't really jumped on board, but for Instagram, it could be really powerful. Yeah.
Interesting.
So.
Thank you. I would agree. You just have to take a look at what your industry is. For me, because I work in the travel industry, Facebook has done a lot of great success for us over the years, but where I'm seeing the growth tremendously in the last 2 years is definitely on Instagram. So if you have a product that is very visual, or if you are in the hospitality industry, or if you're trying to reach women who are 25 to 34, definitely make sure that you are on there. I think that also it's sort of nice. A lot of people, I feel, are moving to Instagram as their platform because Facebook, with the political climate, gets a little nasty sometimes. And Instagram is just, there's less back and forth. It's a lot of just, oh, beautiful picture, I like that. And you can't do all the links and all the nasty grams back and forth to each other. So it just is a happier place, I think, right now. And maybe that's influencing things. So.
You know, I think one of the biggest things to take a look at when trying to choose a social media platform is, are you a B2B business or a B2C? Because each platform represents a little bit different between them. Who's your target audience? Who and where are they? And what's your overall goal? I think that personally, Facebook is a powerhouse. Was it little over 2 billion or 1.2 billion people on there? But I have to agree with the panelists up here too. Instagram is really taken on a force of its own. It gets rid of the political stuff, a lot of the drama that's seen on Facebook. But it really depends on your type of business, what your audience is, what you're looking to target. And I think right now there's 5 of them that I would recommend: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even Pinterest, depending on the type of business you have.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you. And I just want to expand on that a little bit more, because we're all pretty, it sounds pretty straight across the board that Instagram is the platform to be. What is it in particular with Instagram? I hear the drama and stuff like that, but what makes it effective for a business that's looking to ultimately monetize and convert on that social media platform?
I'll let you guys answer too, but I'll just add that if you're in any sort of an industry where you're just trying, what I do is awareness marketing, it's branding, and so I'm not able to track how many widgets have been sold from my post. So for anyone that's in that brand awareness world, it's definitely the avenue for you. And I'll just add that the Instagram user has a lot more money. Typically, in fact, this stat I looked up is 42% earn $75,000 a year or more. And in my case, the Instagram user has an interest in travel. So just research whoever your audience is, which one do they sort of prefer?
Yeah, please do.
In terms of reach, Facebook wears the pants as far as a platform goes. But with Instagram, in terms of engagement, it hands down is the premier platform. And there's a lot of research that supports that.
And that's so interesting. Why is the engagement so much greater on Instagram versus Facebook?
I think it's because we are an information on-demand society. We want things fast, photos fast. With Facebook, a lot of times there's a lot of text, you got to dig through. With Instagram, you can't social share. So you either have a video or you have a photo. You can't put a link on Instagram. So I think that Facebook also, with their algorithms, people were getting pissed off because they weren't seeing the babies and the animals and the things they really wanted to see on Facebook. So now that's why Facebook advertising does well, because it's harder to get organic reach with Facebook nowadays. But if you do pay for it and you do it right, you can get some really good results.
Awesome. And you'd mentioned a little bit more on the awareness marketing. Can you explain just a little bit more of what that looks like and how that can help a business grow?
I'm trying to think where to go with that. Thanks. So in my case, with what I do day in and day out, is I'm inspiring people to travel. I'm inspiring them to go to a restaurant or to try a new hotel or try a new experience. And so you just sort of entice them with beautiful pictures, people having fun, just making them aware of the pretty things that are out there. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. Sorry.
Oh, you're crushing it. Yeah.
So take advantage of that and be an influencer. You may not realize you're an influencer, but take advantage of that, and then eventually those sales will hopefully drive them towards whatever it is that you're selling. It's not going to be a direct convert, but they'll get there.
They'll get there. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Something to say, Jamie. I want to touch on Facebook. A lot of you may not know that Facebook is also a search engine powered by Bing. And so there's advantages to a lot of businesses out there. And what I've seen a lot of success in is in the service and trades industry. You got home builders, you've got remodelers, you've got roofers, you've got carpet cleaners. Anybody who's providing a service like that has really done well, at least from my perspective. And for people that are lifers on Facebook, they're using Facebook as their search engine. So it's very important to make sure that you have a good, strong, reliable presence, a good brand on there that's going to create recognition, regardless of whether they're looking on Google or Instagram or Pinterest or anywhere. Your brand is basically your image, so you've got to make sure that that's solid. I just want to add that in there.
No, I love it. And what are some posting best practices that we can use as business owners to make sure that the hard work that we put into all the posts that we're doing are actually getting seen? Whoever likes to start. Yeah,
There's
wide open.
It starts with doing a key phrase analysis. So rally your people and figure out what are people when they type in things in search engines, what are they looking for as it pertains to your business. I believe strongly in blogs. Blog best listing on Google, the acronym for blogs, because a blog has no shelf life, and you can you'll put a key phrase in the title of the blog throughout the body, and you can get some really good SEO with blogs. So you can extract a lot of your content from your blog posts. So best practices is make it relevant, make it engaging, know your audience. If they're light and fun, be funny, be light. If they're serious, know the tone of who it is you're targeting. And don't ever put a post without a visual. Video does the best. And a lot of us, even including myself, I'm kind of shy with video. I know I should do it, but I'm like, it's like when the answering machines, it's like, even with that, it's like, well, we're just talking to somebody. They're not even talking back. It's just also bizarre to just sit and talk to a camera. But it is a space that each and every business needs to get in. And whether you do it yourself or I know you already have that on the agenda, but yeah, so I'm jumping ahead. So yeah, what's my 2 cents anyway?
Wow. Yeah, I love it.
All right. I really wanted this one. So Julia, I appreciate you talking about the blog and the SEO. So here's a perspective that we started bringing about 2 years ago. A blog, your website's an entry to your business, okay? So that's one of the first things people are going to see. But what we've realized over the last couple of years is that you can use your website as a launching pad. You create an article or a blog, if you will. You tie some pictures into it. You can optimize it. You can tag it, categorize it, add your titles or keywords. And from your website, you can publish it to the World Wide Web. World Wide Web is going to put that article in front of people based upon their search terms. From a social media perspective, you could also publish that article to your social media channels. And what that does is it puts your information out there by way of a blog, and for people to completely read your article, they're going to click on it and go back to your website to read the entire article. What that does is it increases your organic rankings, increases your quality score, your click-through rate, your impressions, your page views, and it's engaging. And we all want people to get to the website to read our stuff, to view our stuff, and to shop us. So that's a perspective that I could bring to it.
I think that's a really good point, and it also will save you time. If you create it on your website first and then bring it to social media, you're not re-entering everything in 5 different places. So keep that in mind. I would just add, make sure you use quality images. The image is everything. Short, concise messages. If you are going to share other people's content, because don't feel the pressure to create all of the content yourself, find some fellow industry partners or other influencers that have some really cool things out there and share what they have, but be sure to always ask permission, give credit, that kind of thing. Simple little tips that you may not think about, but when let's say you shared someone's article, like even just like a Star Tribune article or something, don't forget to do little things to clean it up. Like after you plug in, copy and paste the URL, then it'll pull up that article and you see that photo, then delete the URL, so that it's just not messy and it's out there. So, and you don't be afraid to use emojis. Post with emojis, get a lot more traction. And for Instagram in particular, be sure to enter the location. So right at the top of the picture, you can enter your location, whether you're at a restaurant or you're at your office or whatever. That's going to be 79% more engagement if you actually be sure to remember to fill in that one little thing.
I love it. Another big thing with Instagram that we see growing like wildfire is hashtags. So how do we use hashtags to, I guess, better reach our audience and also apply them to our business goals? Because I think a lot of times where hashtags go wrong is if there's a brand that has a certain message and you're reading through their hashtags and it's just completely off basis, how do we make sure that there's alignment between our brand, and how do we use hashtags to make sure that they're growing our business?
There are 3 platforms that recognize hashtags: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Twitter started out with hashtags to keep the conversations current, so it's in real time. Everybody knows what a hashtag is, right? If you don't, it's a pound sign in front of a word or a phrase, and it's the common denominator that connects you with other like-minded people in the same business or that are interested in the same particular topic. There's a lot of ways you can use them, and some best practices are, like today, we could use it today, hashtag social, let's get social panel 2019, and when we, yeah, 2019, and then, and then when we leave today, if anybody wants to share insights or information, we can use that hashtag during and after, before a conference. You don't want to use hashtags really loosely, like sale or dog or love, or you got to. I mean, like best seafood or most affordable rental car, things, whatever, you put these, Instagram will show you the hashtags that are getting the most traction. So sometimes they're too general, but yes, you can use them for searches and go
Is there
ahead.
such a thing as too many hashtags?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How much is too much?
Well, yeah, you're right. Well, it's also consumer behavior. I mean, do you like to look at something with 1 million hashtags? I mean, I'm probably going to move on to the next thing, but yeah, I mean, there can be too many, absolutely.
It's just, hashtag is really just a magic search function. What I do is different. These two have clients, and so for me, I'm really going to keep talking about tourism, so forgive me. But just to give you an example, I'm sort of the real life case study, I guess, of how you can use it. And so for me, I use it for Stillwater, so hashtag Discover Stillwater, and that is a way for me to encourage all of the visitors that are here or the businesses that are in the hospitality industry to add that to their posts so I can A, see what's going on, or B, see what a visitor from California just did in town, and then that gives me permission, because I have it set up that way in my language, to share their story. And so again, that's a whole world of content out there that I can use. I also use a hashtag in another way to alert like a news source or a partner about something that I'm posting. So for example, I work a lot with the state tourism agency, Explore Minnesota, and they have a hashtag, hashtag only in MN, which has won many awards. They're kicking it in the last 3 years. But again, same thing on a national scale. They're tracking what's going on, but their marketing folks in their office track this hashtag. And so if I have something new and cool, like the bridge just opened in Stillwater, or a new video that I'm sharing, I add hashtag only in MN. Their marketing people see that. I have a greater chance that their marketing people might share it on their channels, which have a lot more followers than mine. So it's a good way to connect with news sources or industry partners.
I took down some notes on the hashtags based on our experience, and they do play a crucial role in developing interest amongst your social media peers. LinkedIn, how many people hashtag on LinkedIn? Nobody? 1 or 2? LinkedIn actually doesn't support hashtags. So if you ever look at a hashtag, you notice that it's not clickable, it's because they don't support it. So a couple takeaways. They're best used for Twitter and Instagram. They help increase your social media presence, allow your content viewable by anyone who has an interest in your hashtag. They go beyond, this is a big one, they go just beyond your followers and are widely used universally. Help you build your brand for your business and engage potential customers about what's trending. In my experience, 5 hashtags, no more than 5 hashtags per post is pretty slick. Anything above and beyond that, you can start to lose people. So,
On Instagram, you can, if you use, say you put out a post and a photo, and then you use like 5 hashtags, whether you promote it or let it run organically, you can check your insights to see how many people came from that hashtag to your profile and how many people came because they searched you. So it shows you, how effective they can be on Instagram, particularly.
Would you say hashtags are as important as like tagging content? So like tagging other businesses, so on and so forth.
What do you mean by taking content?
So tagging content, so like tagging other people, tagging other businesses. So like are hashtags the equivalent to tagging?
Oh,
Tagging.
they're similar. They're very similar.
Yeah.
It's a type of tagging, actually. So I guess it depends on the campaign and yeah.
Got it. One of the things we had talked about that I want to circle back to is understanding the power of video on social media. How do we go about, as business owners, if we're not someone who's not comfortable with being on camera? We all understand and feel that it's very important, but how important is it, and how do we become comfortable with getting on video more often?
I'm going to let somebody else start because I don't want to hog the microphone.
Okay, I guess I win this one.
Woo!
Well, first of all, I understand the comfortableness thing, and I think it's a conscious decision for you to make as your business. First of all, if you want, depending on what you do, if you want your face to be part of the brand, sometimes that's a good strategy and sometimes that's a bad strategy. For what I do, I try not to make my face be the brand of Stillwater because I may be gone someday and the town is not about me, it is about all the amazing things happening here. So I rarely show my face in a video. But if you're an expert and you're selling insurance or whatever and you're comfortable with that, by all means go for it, because then that audience will be comfortable with you and see you as that expert, and that will build a good rapport. For video is extremely important. On Facebook especially, we see, gosh, I have some stats here, but I don't know like what percentage more, but I just know that it's massively more than if I post a photo. If we have a video, the reach is just, it's amazing. So for us, the number one things that get a lot of traction are videos and article shares from reputable news sources like a Pioneer Press or Star Tribune or a magazine, versus any content that I just create and post. It's never going to be as high as those two other things. So we invest a lot in video. The majority of our budget is digital marketing, and we invested a ton last year in creating content and in video, and I foresee that being the future for sure.
I'll piggyback on that. Video is huge, and just a couple of stats. 85% of video, let me just read this. 2019 video is projected to be responsible for 85% of search, so it's huge. 2020, the projection is the ad spend is going to be $28 to $38 billion in 2020. It can be engaging, it can be fun, but here's what we've experienced as a company. You know, a lot of people are thinking, gosh, I got to hire a videographer. I got to hire a videographer to do my shoots. We got to do these takes. We got to do all of these things. But what I've learned is we want to see you. We don't want to see something scripted. We want to see you being yourself, being fun, because that right there is more engaging than a video that's scripted. And so our phones, our technology today, you can set your phone up on a tripod and you can take a video of yourself and post it. People will appreciate that because that's who you really are. It's you being you.
And your hashtag was I'm just me, so I like that. Nice tie-in, yeah.
I did find some stats that I brought. So I just ran a report on our Facebook page, and video, the average reach is about 16,000 versus an article link is 3,500 versus a photo is 3,100. So big difference. And our latest video that we just created for Winter Romantic Getaway, in 2 weeks, I've got 20,000 views of organic reach. That doesn't include
Wow.
my paid.
Wow, how many shares?
Well, I don't know about the shares. I think that there's several versions of the video, and I remember the full version had about 78 shares.
Wow, congratulations.
I think they said it all. People want to see it, not read it. So
Yeah.
we're just getting lazier and lazier. No, but all things equal, a video uploaded to Facebook is going to perform a lot better than just a post or a shared link.
Yeah, one of the things I know our team and even our clients struggle with is where to put the video, right? And we've heard a lot of different strategies around this. The old play used to be you upload it to YouTube, you share it to Facebook, and you just, but now Facebook has actually disabled the ability for the autoplay function with YouTube videos. So is it an effective process to upload and cross-pollinate with the YouTube as a centralized platform, or is it better for us to now leverage the Facebook videos platform and have 10 different videos uploaded on all these different platforms? Let's just take a moment and talk more on that.
Well, I think both is important, as long as you're using key phrases with your video. I think Facebook only lets you upload 60 seconds. Is that right? Or is it Instagram? That's Instagram, yeah. I wish I could speak really intelligently to that. But I mean, if you post a video on Facebook, it's also going to be, and you use a key phrase, you mentioned that Facebook is a search engine. It's also going to be found by YouTube and by other mobile devices. So that's going to help your SEO overall.
And for those who don't know, what is SEO?
Search engine optimization.
Thank you.
It's simple. Basically is about what you're typing in the search engine when you're looking for a particular product or service. When people think of you, what are they putting in? Senior photos, wedding photography. What are they looking for when they're looking for your product or service?
For the video, definitely I agree, do both. Post it on YouTube because not everyone's on Facebook or on Instagram, so that's what you would use to link to your video if they don't have that. And on Facebook, you get by far a much greater reach if you upload the video directly to Facebook video versus sharing the YouTube link. It also just looks prettier in the feed. And then the Instagram limit of the 60 seconds, that is the case for the feed, the news feed of Instagram, but they have a new feature called Instagram TV, which I was very scared to do, and I just dove in. So take advantage of that because you can now on Instagram TV post a longer video, and then within your Insta story, you can link to that longer video on the Instagram TV channel.
Very cool. Like everybody said, both of them are very, very valuable. When you look at an SEO perspective, does everybody in here know what SEO is? No? I'll give you a quick description. So you have a website and you have a car. Just as a car needs plugs, wires, rotors, caps, et cetera, to run and operate and get you to point A to point B, so too does a website. Keywords, structure, metadata, titles, descriptions. When you look at video, the second most utilized search engine in the world is YouTube, because where we go when we're looking for tutorials and video information. So when you upload your video to YouTube, you can also do the same thing. You can optimize it. You can put analytics in there to track how many views and hits you're getting to the video. Plus you can do your titles, your keywords, et cetera. And what we've also found is take your video, embed it into your blog, write an article about the video, put a couple pictures in there, submit it to your social media channels, and from an organic perspective and an SEO perspective, you're increasing your ranking and the hits to your website.
Now that brings up a really good point. So you talked about, YouTube is considered social media. It's ranked number 2 compared to Google as a search engine. It's owned by Google. Are social media platforms becoming search engines?
Absolutely.
And how does that relate to business? How does that plug into the whole business framework here?
Well, you look at Facebook, for example. So Facebook is powered by the search engine Bing. A lot of people they're living on Facebook, like ridiculously living on Facebook, and they're utilizing Facebook's search to find business like they would utilize Google. So that's where the value of that comes in at. From an organic perspective or even a paid ads perspective, it's important to be there. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just want to add, so thinking to the Yellow Page days, I liken it to this. If you're not in the Yellow Pages, if you're not on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, pick your channel, you don't exist to some customers. So I always tell people, even if you don't have the time or the money to invest in keeping that channel up to date and posting every day, just create a page, because when someone else is searching for best contractor in the St. Croix Valley, or I want to find a restaurant, you will appear. if in that search, whatever platform you're on. If you're not there, you're not going to be found. And so for me, I get very frustrated as a marketer who's marketing, 100 plus businesses in this area, and I want to give kudos to all of these places that I'm talking about. But if I can't tag you, I can't give you kudos. And so even if I can just tag you, that person that sees my post can go, oh, cool. Reveille Bar and Bistro, that looks fun. They click on that tag in my post. It takes them to their either Facebook or their Instagram listing. They can find your website, they can find your address, and they can find your phone number. Just put one big pretty picture up and leave it. If you do nothing else, just create the page. I don't know if you guys would agree. But
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
I'll second that.
You can also do contests on Instagram and ask people to take photos when they're at your restaurant or they're shopping at your store. And
I think that goes really well into some of the other, how do you get people to engage? So like everything you're talking about, like that's great and they're producing content, but how do we get people to not only take the initiative to create that type of content, but also share your content?
there's a few different ways. Controversy always sells. Not that I'm saying that you should post something controversial, but people will share controversial topics. Ask open-ended questions, do a poll, ask a multiple choice question. The barriers of entry are so easy with that. Polls are becoming big on Facebook, one or the other. You ask them to take an act, what they think about something, empower them. You should be leading with value with social media. There's a 90-10 rule, and 10% of what you put out there should be asking for the sale, and 90% should be being an educator and a thought leader. So know what they want, know what interests them, and speak to that.
Something as simple as don't forget to communicate to people to follow you, so that, you know, in your brochures and on your website and in your sales transaction, remind people, hey, like us on Facebook for deals or follow us on Instagram, so that you build that audience and let them do the work for you. Create that hashtag or create that contest or that sweepstakes to engage them to post pictures about their experience and interactions with your business so that you can share them. Okay.
I love it. I love it. So, and I know what a lot of business owners are thinking. I've sat in a lot of meetings where we're talking about and looking at social media and making some decisions around potentially, you know, making additional investments, whether it's pay for play with paid media or simply hiring a content strategist to come in and actually start curating and producing content. And a lot of times when I'm sitting down with the CFO, we'll get into the conversation around, okay, what's the ROI of social media? How do we justify making this investment? And I just want to unravel that and understand, how do we justify investing hard-earned dollars into social media?
I will just say a sort of a general statement, and it's kind of like answering that why should I advertise question. You know, it's like if you don't, the negative is greater, you know, so it's almost like you just have to do it, and you have to play the game in some capacity. Whether or not you can put a number on it and get an exact ROI, that depends on what you're doing and what you're selling, but you have to at least be a player in the game.
So Minnesota nice. Having sold TV and radio, I think that's a really interesting perspective, because with TV, you're basing it off of ratings, off of Nielsen ratings. So how did the show perform after the fact, where your commercial was placed? With radio, you're buying it off of Arbitron, which is a survey where we are asking people who they listen to, or we're getting their psychographic information, the demographic information, and we're basing that decision before you place the media buy. But with social media, if you're doing a Facebook ad, you can put up 3 to 10 photos, create a slideshow, and you could be watching it in real time, making sure that it's performing well. I just had an ad campaign, and the clicks were 8 cents a click, and we had a landing page. We were trying to get people to buy gift certificates, and it was outrageous. The client spent probably $200, and we had, I think, 2,000 people that engaged. And wow. So, I mean, really, the message is so important. So you can measure it. I mean, I think there's a perception out there that it's not measurable, but it absolutely is measurable. And
can I have it now? It's a very broad question, because how do you really truly measure your ROI from social media engagement? And I think the very first factor you need to really do is, how do you engage people? And so engagement is it's measured by your likes, shares, and your comments. One of the things that we've done here is, we've all got, I don't know how many, the average of Facebook friends in here, or how many likes you have on your page, but when you post something on your Facebook page, you should ask for people to engage that. What do you have to say about this post? What do you like about this post? Because it starts to drive a conversation through that post, and you'd be amazed at how much a simple little blurb can engage a lot of different people and learn a lot of different perspectives on any particular item. Know your audience, know your goals, and I think that's what's really going to drive the ROI. It's hard to measure, but you'll get there.
One way that we do sort of track it is by looking at our Google Analytics. So you can see what sites are the top referring pages to your website. And for discoverstillwater.com, Facebook has been #1 for many years, or at least in the top 3. So we know that it's important from that
And what is a referral?
perspective.
What is referring?
Meaning somebody clicked through to discoverstillwater.com from facebook.com, or from another. I can see it, let's say it was yellowpages.com referred, 25 links to me that past year. So
They're still in it, huh?
kidding.
I'll leave Yellow Pages alone.
Hypothetical.
Hypothetical, got it. No, I know. So, is there anything else on the social, on the ROI of social media that you guys would like to add?
Sorry, one more thing. So regarding the ads that Julia mentioned, the cool thing about social media is that you can edit things. So you screw something up, you can fix it. And also, if you're doing paid advertising and it's not working, like she said, you can stop the ad. It's not like a radio or a TV buy where you're like, I just spent $5,000 and well, I hope it works. You can test things out and see what works better, or stop it and start it and edit it and fix it. And you have so much more control than you do with any other medium. And it still remains, right, the most cost-effective, quickest way to market.
It is.
As of today, Facebook is the winner.
Yep. Yep. Radio's making a comeback, though. It's kind of interesting.
Radio?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Have actionable goals. I mean, if you're trying to get more people on your website, you can do free trials. Know what you want from if you're trying to send people to a landing page. I mean, you can set your goals so they're measurable as well.
I know a lot of business owners in the room are wondering, maybe business owners that have social media channels set up, but not a website, for example. Is social media enough on its own for business? And why?
I would say no. I mean, you definitely have to pay to play. I mean, the days of organic search, they're just gone. I mean, and why wouldn't you? I mean, that's where your community is. They're active, they're vibrant, they're making buying decisions every single day. So I would say absolutely have a budget for social media. But with most of my clients, I promote a multi-level marketing approach. I mean, I have clients that we do radio, and then we also do blogs and social media and email marketing. And it really obviously comes down to budget, too. I mean, not everybody has super deep pockets where they can buy every platform out there, but just basically knowing where your audience is. I have another client that does really well with direct mail, but they're older demographic. So, yeah, know the consumer behavior of your clients and then build your campaign based on that.
I know you have a lot to say on this too, so I'll let you go. But just definitely no. It is not the only thing. It is only one little slice of the pie. Always use an integrated marketing approach and know what your audience is looking for. So I think it's only about 70% of the American population that's on the internet is on social media right now, and that number's always changing. But what about that other 30%? You got to reach them, in some other fashion, however that may be. There's a lot of other ways to market, so it's just one piece of it. You've got to do a lot more.
And I'll piggyback on that one. Definitely not. There's a lot to know about marketing your business, and a lot of people they'll build a website and they'll publish the website, and that's it. and then they wonder 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, why they're not being found on the internet, because it's not optimized. You're not maintaining it, you're not keeping it. It's just like a car. You want to keep your car running, you got to do the same thing with your website. You want to keep that website out there, you've got to maintain that website. You know, there's a lot of different variables. There's keywords, there's structure, there's metadata, there's citation building, there's backlinking, on-site linking, off-site linking, social media. Every one of those things I just mentioned could be a panel discussion. I mean, there's so many things to learn about it. You know, you're in business for a reason. You want people to find you. You want to grow your business. We all want to make a living. It's just, there's a lot to do, a lot to understand.
Love it. 100%. A little bit of foreshadowing there, too. So, and let's take a moment here. Let's now go in. So we're going to move into Q&A here in just a little bit. So we look forward to taking your guys' questions and answering them. But what are some of your top tips and takeaways for the audience today on helping them start their social?
I guess the biggest takeaway is have a plan. You got to have a plan first, and you got a vision, and you got to execute. You got to know your audience, know your demographics, know your geographics, know who you want to target. I mean, you really got to put a lot of thought into this. Otherwise, you know, your business is going to slowly go downhill, and you're going to find something else to do because you're going to become bored with it. But keep in mind that, you know, your website and your social media presence, that's one of the two places you're going to go to first to look for you, to find out about you. And everybody in this room, I think it's fair to say that, you know, like you get a job applicant, you want to know who it is that's applying for this job, and we go to Facebook, we go to LinkedIn, we want to know who people are. People are doing the same thing when they want to do business with somebody or a business itself. So that would be my takeaway.
Awesome.
Okay, I guess I would say do a combination of, if you're going to do social media, do a combination of paid and organic. And if it at all interests you to be the social media person, by all means, jump in and try it. If it doesn't interest you and it's not your comfort zone, accept that, acknowledge that, and hire a professional. But I'll just say, just to comfort you, because I'm sure many of you feel the same way. I mean, I have a degree in marketing and 16 years experience, but I didn't get any education on social media. It didn't exist when I went to college. So much of what I have done has been very self-taught. You just have to dive in, tap your toe in the water, give it a try. You can always delete and edit. And it doesn't have to be top-notch all the time. Just like you were talking about that video before, just throw it on, just try it, give it a go. So I wish you the best. And ride the wave, because it might not be around forever, but it's an awesome marketing tool right now.
Seriously? What's going to replace it? Yeah, I would, to speak to your point, both of your points, absolutely have a plan. I mean, it can be, don't be overwhelmed. Start with a SWOT analysis if you have to. Sit down and dig into your brand. What key differentiators? What are your key differentiators? How do you, why you versus them? I mean, really build out your plan. Start at square one, and then, I don't know why I'm losing my voice here, but, and also get creative. Find people that are brand ambassadors. I do agree, organic and also paid advertising, have both in your strategy. But empower your brand ambassadors, those people who are singing your praises, love your brand, love what you do, get them to talk about it, get them to share your content.
Awesome. Love it. Let's give them a round of applause. So wonderful. So we want to open it up for Q&A. Before we do that, I just want to take a moment and ask, we will be sending out a feedback form here after the event. We want to continue to make this a series, and we would absolutely love your guys' help and feedback to help make this better and continue to add value to help you guys grow your businesses. So look for that feedback form. Please fill it out, and we look forward to getting the next chamber panel set up shortly. Thank you.
If anybody has a question, raise your hand. Oh, boy. Let's go over here.
Okay, first of all, I wish I would have been using hashtags on the past year that I've been posting. But Christine was saying, so you did like hashtag Explore Stillwater. So do I have to Google Explore Stillwater for me to, how do the hashtags reach me? How do your hashtags reach me? I don't get that.
So you can use hashtags on multiple platforms, but my opinion is Instagram is really the only one that you need to use it on. So skip it if you're not using Instagram. But on Instagram, you can set up at the top of the page, you can search for like people, places, or tags. And so if you go under tags and you type in hashtag Discover Stillwater, that'll pull up anything that anyone has ever posted for Discover Stillwater. And then you and your business, this is a good tip too, to find other hashtags, maybe your competitor, maybe if you're a biking business, you just follow the hashtag I love biking or whatever it is. You can follow a hashtag, so then it's like a news alert, so then you're kind of staying on top of the trends of what's going on in that realm. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Rob?
So a couple of times there is landing pages came up, and so my question is there a big difference between landing pages versus a blog? And it seems to me blogs are kind of going by the wayside, and landing pages are like a good way to test. Any comments?
I don't care.
So the difference between a blog and a landing page, yeah, there's a difference. So a landing page, or what we call microsites, if you will, they're geared toward a specific service in most cases. And so like what you guys offer, Rob, I mean, you can have 5 or 6 different landing pages that represent each one of your services. But a blog, once you put the landing page out there, it's out there. And yeah, you can optimize it. You can get the reach and the search. But with a blog, it's ongoing. So every time you create an article or a blog from your website, and you hit publish, the search engines go, oh, Ultra Clean just published a new article from the website. Let's crawl that page, that article, let's index it, let's find the right people to put it in front of based upon their search criteria. So it's never ending, it keeps on going. Once you create the landing page, yeah, it's out there, but it doesn't keep on going unless you start continuously optimizing it, or you're doing paid advertisement.
Yeah, so I'll chime in on this one. Another thing too, so with social media, like posting frequently is very important. If you go to a business page and they haven't posted since 2016, the first question is, are they still in business, right? And blogging can serve much in the same function. If you have a blog on your website and it's active and you haven't posted a blog in almost 4 years, people are going to wonder if you're still in business. So blogging can help you, and it can also hurt you much in the same way that social media can as well.
What I learned when I went to school is that blogging should be the central hub of your strategy. Everything links back to your blog. So if you write an article and you have your key phrase in the article, it's optimized, right? So you could have written it 5 years ago. It's going to come up if I type in that key phrase today. And with that link, you can put that link on Twitter. You can put it on Facebook. You can put it on LinkedIn. So you're cross-marketing all your different platforms as well.
Can I just touch on that real quick one more time? So I'll use an example. Luxury home builder out in Wayzata, Minnesota. We created a bunch of microsites, micropages for him for specific services, and we published them. And he gained a lot of traction, but there wasn't a whole lot of engagement. So then we started doing his article publishing through his website, to his social media channels, through LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. 30% increase in his organic traffic within the first 6 to 8 hours after publishing the article. So I just wanted to throw that out there too.
I have a quick question. So that was this is organic?
This is organic,
But posting to social media.
but posting to social media.
So there's a correlation.
Absolutely. Yep, you're hitting the World Wide Web and you're also hitting your social media channel. So yeah, that's huge. So.
Got another question over here.
So you touched on YouTube videos. I'm interested to know your thoughts for paid YouTube advertisements.
Anybody got an answer for that one?
I pay for YouTube service, so I don't see the advertisements anymore. But Ty Lopez ruined it for me. But if you have an audience that you're going for that is, I would say, in the younger demographic, so anywhere from the 18 to 34, they're not just going to shell out $10 a month to YouTube to pay to not see the ads. Then YouTube advertising can be very effective. But that, I guess, would be my 2 cents on the YouTube advertising. Yeah. Yeah.
Other questions?
You touched on knowing your audience, and I want to hear more about which platform to use. If you, like, I've heard LinkedIn has a lot more information on the back end around like education level, career stuff. How do you decide which social media platform is the best? I know it's tied to your audience, but you can talk a little bit more about that specifically.
I'll add my 2 cents on LinkedIn is that you can still hit an organic audience on LinkedIn, which is interesting. And I do have one correction here for you, Patrick. Earlier you said LinkedIn doesn't use hashtags. They enabled it now. You can use it now, yep. So I just want the audience to know you can use hashtags on LinkedIn, and it is something that with LinkedIn, like the ability to hit organic reach is still there. So if you don't have funds to have a paid marketing budget, and you're B2B, like LinkedIn is the place to be.
Does that answer your question? You did that on purpose. He handed me the microphone upside down. I guess you really wanted my input on that one. That's hilarious. LinkedIn is, it's really more business to business. It's a great place to create groups if you want to get other influencers, and you can start your own group or you can join other groups. I try to be active on it, but to be realistic, it's just hard to do it all. I mean, I've created and joined some social media marketing groups, and I'm not saying that it's not effective, but you can find your people that have similar interests. And I think LinkedIn ads, from what I hear, and I haven't done them, but that they work pretty well. And for recruitment also.
I haven't done any advertising per se on LinkedIn, but I have in the past used it for prospecting. So to find professional people who are event and meeting planners and invite them to Stillwater for a tour, I found that just private messaging them worked, but I don't know about the other piece of it.
Hi guys, it's actually 2 questions I have. One to piggyback on one of the answers that you gave, and then if you'll tolerate me, my actual question. So you were talking about blog posts and being very important and whatnot, because it keeps that cycle going on your website for your SEO and whatnot. Is there a benefit also, or is it more beneficial to have a blog, or equally as beneficial to go this route? Can you take your social media posts and link those? I do that on my site, link it back to my website so that new content is being posted to my website. Is that equally as effective, or is it a totally different thing?
I would say it's equally as effective. When you look at your website and you look at your blog posts, you got to keep the activity. And people say, we've always heard the old adage that content is king, and you got to keep doing something to your website so that you can republish it. Each time you make an edit to your website, you have to publish it. And when you do that, the crawlers keep coming back and they start indexing new information. In our experience, the blog is the best and most effective way to continuously stay active on the website, and you continuously bring those crawlers back, and you're continuously indexing your information. Something that a lot of people don't understand, though, too, is each time that you hit that publish button, you should submit a sitemap to the search engines so that they know that, hey, you just published a new page, and they immediately get the crawlers to come back right away and start to index your information and get it out there faster. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, for the most part it does, okay. Yes. And then my actual question then was, as far as searching goes, I'm kind of an old school guy, I guess. I didn't realize that people were actually using, the Bing was the background for Facebook, and that people are maybe utilizing that search capacity to find businesses. For me, when I want to find something, I Google it, right? I'm a Google guy, I'm not a Bing guy. I go out there, I search for it, for, computer service in whatever town, right? And what I'm wondering is, being the case, are ad dollars better spent on Google ads for that purpose to drive to your website and maybe to your Facebook also, or through Facebook to drive traffic to your Facebook page?
What a loaded question. I'm going to throw it out there. I am not a big proponent to Google AdWords. I think it's a monopolized industry. In my experience, that's what I've learned, and I've proven time and time again that if you invest in a good organic SEO strategy, you'll gain more visibility and representation than you will with an AdWords campaign. AdWords they've come a long way, but again, it goes back to a monopolized industry, and you really have to know the time you want your ads displayed. And if you have like, you know, $1,000 monthly ad spend, that can be, your daily spend is minimal, and that could be the equivalent of 2 clicks, you know, and who's to say some Joe's not out there clicking on a thing just to see who you are. Well, there goes one, and if it doesn't convert, it's not worth it. Facebook ads, I'm not a big seller on Facebook ads either, and I think maybe I'll pass the mic.
It just comes down to anything. It's the message, it's the visual, is it the right target audience? There's so many variables, just like any medium. For me, it has worked well with the clients that I have. I do mostly business to consumer. I think it's tougher business to business, but
No, that's a great question. It really is loaded. I've spent a lot of time in Google AdWords, and I've spent a lot of time also working with our team through the Facebook ad side of things and the paid channels. And what we found conclusively is it depends on where they're at in the buying process, where to spend the money. So if you're a new brand and you're just getting out there and you really want to do awareness and you want to get a message in alignment with your brand and build brand equity with a potential audience, you know, Facebook ads is going to be the way to go, because you gotta, if you're posting to your Facebook page and you have 0 likes, I mean, you know, you might as well be posting into the wind, right? So going into Facebook ads, you know, getting a building audience, aligning a message, so on and so forth. But Google ads is a really good way to capture people a little bit farther down the funnel. So you have awareness, you have consideration, and then you're going to move more into a decision phase. And the decision phase is where people are, their hands a little closer to their wallet at that point, right? So I'm actually going to make a decision to purchase. And that's typically where that interaction will happen then on a search engine, where someone's actually searching for the actual service it is that they're looking to fulfill. Does that make sense? Okay. Is that helpful?
there's social listening tools out there now. There's things called there's Brand Watch, Mention, Avatar, there's another one. Yeah. And they start at like $29 a month. And they work like setting up a search on Twitter, which is another way to search, or Google. But they're supposed to be very effective. I haven't used them yet, but there are definitely other social listening tools that you can use that will watch for your key phrases.
So I think there's a place for AdWords. So yeah, I'm not a big proponent of it, but I got to ask everybody in here, we all search. So when you're doing a search for a specific business, how many people in here, by a show of hands, surf on past those ads that are at the top and go down to below the maps or in the maps section? Yeah. There you go.
Question?
Thanks for having us today, guys. As far as posting, how many posts per day, and what is the best time to post them?
That's an awesome question. It really depends on the platform. Oh my gosh. Twitter, you can post, it's endless because people are moving in and out of the space, the tweet rapidly, so you can post often on Twitter. Instagram, twice a day. I mean, you don't have to post twice a day, because if you are posting twice a day, you need original content or original graphics, so it's harder, more challenging to post more often on Instagram. We say once a day is good. Facebook, you can post every other day or twice a day. And again, I think what we use as a rule of thumb is every day on just about every platform except for one day a week. So it really depends. I mean, if you have really good original content, you have beautiful photos, and then they're relevant, yeah, go ahead and post, but don't just post for the sake of showing up if you don't have something valuable to offer.
I would say that's a good answer. I agree with that. However, I'm very guilty of posting way more than that.
There's just so much to talk about. So be careful not to fall into a rabbit hole like I do, where you're like obsessed and there's just so much. So self-control. But the time of day for us are stats. The day of the week does not matter. It is pretty consistent. I think depending on your business, for us, it's pretty consistent throughout the week. But the time of day, for sure, 7 to 9 p.m. is when the highest traffic. Most people are home and finally sitting down on the couch and scrolling. So.
That's a really good question, Matthew. Yesterday I met with my team and we actually talked specifically about the better times to post. So I did some research on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And each one of those said respectively, for Facebook, it says the best times to post to Facebook are from 1 to 4 p.m., 6 to 10 p.m., and on weekends. On Twitter, they say the best time to post on Twitter is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and after work from 4 to 7 p.m. And what's that? Slow down? You want to repeat that? Twitter? Facebook says 1 to 4 p.m., 6 to 10 p.m., and on weekends. Twitter? You ready, Cherie? Twitter is 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and after work from 4 to 7 p.m. No. No. And then I got one more for LinkedIn, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 4 to 6 p.m.
I'll just add that for Instagram, I don't know what the national stats are, but for me, the time of day does not seem to matter as much, which is interesting to me. So people are just out there all the time.
Real quick, Facebook will give you an hour by hour. It will show what your particular audience when they are most active. So you just go to Insights and it'll show you the day that they're most active, and it'll show you an hour by hour as well.
Wonderful. So we have about 5 minutes left here, so we have time for one more good question.
Oh, hopefully this is a good question then. Facebook, I use it on 2 different sides. I have a personal page and I have a business page. Personal page, you can invite people to do whatever. You can invite them to be part of your page. On the business side, however, they have to find you and like you. Can you give any tips on how you can increase the viewership on the business side of a Facebook page?
That's a great question. Really good. No. No. Again, it comes down to relevant content. I mean, in your business, in HR, I'm assuming you're blogging. Again, the blog link, the key phrases, hot topics. You can also get guest bloggers, which can be very valuable, people that are singing your praises, or maybe they're talking about something that's relevant that would be interesting to your followers and your fans. You can curate information, from other sites that speak your language. And so it's a little harder, and I know this. B2B is definitely harder because people, they want to see babies and animals and food, but puppies. But yeah, just make it relevant and build up that funnel of content with those key topics. And don't be afraid to invite other people to help you by sharing, curating content and asking people to chime in on topics that are relevant.
Depending on your business, if you can provide some sort of an incentive for them to like you, if follow us for deals or coupons or exclusive offers or that kind of a thing, if you, rather than just saying follow us, if you give them an extra reason, sometimes that helps get some more people. Tiny thing.
So the other thing you could do too is, you have your personal page and you have your business page, and typically they're tied together. You access one through your personal page. If you scroll down on the right-hand side of your Facebook business page, you can invite your friends to like your page. One of the strategies that we have as a team is when we publish a new website, or a social media platform or something like that, all of the members of our team will look at their friends list in the local market here, and they'll actually invite each one of their friends in the local market to like a page. And so we got a pretty good thing. If I send a Facebook like out to a bunch of local people here, a lot of those people know exactly what we're doing, and they'll also do the same thing. So it kind of starts to go viral. But that would be the first approach. I wouldn't recommend buying Facebook likes because 80% of them are bots, and they're non-existent pages. But they're going to make sure you get the likes, but it's not going to do what you want it to do and engage real people.
Do we have time for one more quick one? Quick. I know you want.
Mine is more of a comment and then find out how to optimize it, but wasn't touched on. I know that Instagram, we always post through Instagram, and you can instantly share it to Facebook. So in the saving time realm, what's the best way to optimize that side of it?
I just say good for you for figuring that out. Yes, you can save yourself some time and post from Instagram to Facebook. I do that occasionally, but sometimes it just doesn't, it's not formatted as nice, just kind of the same reason I don't use Hootsuite as much anymore, because when you post to each individual channel alone, the formatting is just nicer and better, and the tags actually all work versus pushing from one to the other, but it's not going to hurt.
It's a little harder to measure too. I mean, with Instagram, you get the heart if somebody likes something, and you might get a lot of engagement, but might not always transpire into an actionable result. So, does that make sense? No? He's like, no.
All right, one more.
This is the last one.
Last one. Cutting us off.
Hopefully it's a good one. So we've made our post. SEO for dummies. Because I mean, it's totally two different things. Creating the post, which is so important, and that whole search engine optimization, that's a whole nother rabbit hole you can go down. Is there a quick guide, website, anything that you would Google, YouTube, to say this is kind of the key components you should have in a post? SEO for dummies.
You kind of pick your battles there. There's a ton of information. I mean, there is a book called SEO for Dummies, but they give so much information that it really leaves a lot of people confused. And my best advice is to sit down with an experienced marketer, any one of us on this panel or several people who are in the room, and really get into the nuts and bolts of it. At the end of the day, it really is simple. It's just a basic understanding of, if you're creating a post, you want to create a title about that post. And I always tell people, geographical keywords, associate the two. Your description should be streamlined, and then you add your keywords and specific keywords that are in that post. But what I also tell people about posting an article is make sure that you're integrating keywords into that article. And if those keywords are relevant to another page on your website, backlink that keyword to that page. So now you're creating links. I hope that answers your question, but any one of us can answer that for you in a sit down.
There's a Google Planner if you want to try to do it yourself. Google Keyword Planner, where you type in all your seed words and your key phrases, and you're looking for things that have low competition but high searchability. So start with doing it yourself and figuring out what are people searching for as it relates to your business, and you're in real estate, right? I don't know where my voice went, but back to you.
Wonderful. Well, let's give them a round of applause. So thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to come here and join us in braving the weather. I'll pass it over to Stacy to round us up here.
Yes, thank you all. Great questions. I know there's probably a few other questions. I think our panelists may stick around for a few minutes that you can feel free to come up and ask them some more questions. Again, thank you to all of you. Great information. I do want to give a shout out to Valley Access Channels. They were actually videotaping the entire presentation today, so we will be posting that on our social media channels so that you can enjoy that, and people that weren't able to make it today can get that information. We will also be sending out a follow-up with a link to the presentation so you can get a closer look at some of those slides and information. And we'll have 3 short questions that we'd love for you to give us your feedback on as well. And a quick shout out as well to Watermark Church as our host location. We very much appreciate that. And if you haven't liked the Greater Stillwater Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, make sure you do that as well. Thank you all for coming.